Hey, it's Melissa from Kiwi Banana, and I want to give you a rundown of some of the areas that I went to when I was in the Philippines. And the first place I want to start in is Manila, because that was our entry and our exit point of the country of Philippines. Now, it's not a place that I would recommend staying for long periods. It has everything that a city would, and more, of course. It's very busy. The traffic can be really bad in some places. And obviously there's also the large city next to Manila, which is, I think it's Quezon City. So the two of them combined so close together can get a bit hectic on the roads, should I say. It can take a long time to sometimes get from point A to point B, depending on what day of the week it is and what time that you go. Now, it's a good place for connecting flights. However, the airport's not great. And I'm still trying to get my yoga mat back that was lost there. Somehow the airline lost it there. I don't even know. It'll probably never come back. Just the way things are sometimes in those countries. I wouldn't really recommend Manila for anyone, really. I guess unless you're into shopping. But it's not really a place for me. So next place we stopped in is the Cebu Island. And we were staying in Mactan City for a bit. That's quite far away from basically anything that you want to do in Cebu. And Cebu City has got some terrible, terrible traffic. So, Cebu City's got things that you may need. And it's probably the oldest city in the Philippines. Maybe that could be why the traffic is so bad. Maybe they haven't thought about how they lay out the city very well. So that can really make it sometimes can take hours to get out of the city, depending on where you're leaving in the city and what time of the day it is, what date of the year it is, and all that kind of stuff. Now we all did also at another point of our trip come back to Cebu Island, and we went and stayed in Langbao Beach, which is near Mobile. And Langbao Beach was quite a while away from anything. We'd had to walk about half an hour just to get to the main road to catch some public transport. But that was a quiet area. It was next to a nice beach. It wasn't far from waterfalls, canyoneering. There's snorkeling around there as well. And yeah, it's kind of expensive in Cebu. Possibly not quite as expensive as Palawan, which I'm going to talk about later. The next island we went to is Bohol, and we quite enjoyed Bohol. And we stayed in Tagbilaran City. And with us staying there, instead of way at the bottom where all the tourists stayed, we were actually able to get out and do a lot more of the things that we wanted to do a lot quicker. Being on the northern end of the city, we were able to, go and find heaps of waterfalls. We went to see the tarsiers at a tarsier sanctuary, and that's like a native monkey to Bohol. So you might want to look that up, what they are, if you're not sure what they are. And, it was cheaper. There wasn't really a lot of vegan places to eat at, as there really wasn't in a lot of places in the Philippines in general. But anyway, and then the next place we went to was my favourite island, Siquijor, and it was much quieter. You could get around the whole island like within a day. They have still held on to some of their like traditional practices and their like medicines and things that they make. There's a lot of waterfalls, and there's beaches, there's snorkeling, I'm sure there's diving as well. We stayed at a really good place called Adventura. So if you're going to go there, I'd highly recommend staying there. And it's run by a German guy. His name's Johannes, and he's very much involved in the Filipino community there, and he helps out a lot of the youth. He's really passionate about the longboarding with the teenagers, the teenage boys, young men there, and he's really got them into that, and that's really, really cool to watch. And a whole lot of other projects that he's involved in there as well. And I was really surprised the amount of vegan food I could get for such a small place there as well. So that was really, really good. There's a butterfly sanctuary there that we went to. The guy that runs the butterfly sanctuary there. He is pretty much the butterfly expert in that area of the Philippines. That whole Vinyasas, I can't remember the name of it. The Philippines is split up in kind of like 4 sections, and yeah, he's pretty much the butterfly expert in that area. And the last time I went to was Palawan, so we were in like Puerto Princesa, Port Barton and El Nido. El Nido is a very busy touristy place for a very small compact area, and we didn't go further north to Coron, which is where a lot of people go. We just kind of got short for time, and we knew it would be quite expensive to get there and to get back, or it would take a lot of time to do that. So yeah, El Nido was quite expensive, and it's not really a place that I would love to go back to. However, they do have some really nice boat tours from there, going around some islands. There's definitely a lot of Instagrammable spots on those tours. And Port Barton, where I really liked that was much more a chilled out place. It had quite a few vegan options for such a small town. There's like no internet or power like during the day, and even El Nido, the internet wasn't very good when it was working. But Port Barton definitely, it was still very much trying to establish itself, or it doesn't really need to. I quite like it the way it is. The whole town is like 12 blocks or something. The beaches in El Nido and Port Barton are not great, but there are nicer beaches not too far away from there. And there's tours that go from Port Barton. The Port Barton ones are cheaper. Port Barton is way cheaper than El Nido to go to, in my opinion. And Puerto Princesa has like kind of everything that a city has. You can do like an underground river tour there, which we didn't get to do. And we stayed at a nice wee place there. So that's basically a rundown of the places we went to in the Philippines, the sort of areas. There's a lot of things to do in the Philippines, and it's very much untouched compared to somewhere like Thailand. And there were definitely some islands, that didn't feel too touristy, which was quite cool. You want to go check it out. Maybe you want to go to one of those places. Maybe there's some other places that you want to go to. If you have been to the Philippines or you've lived in the Philippines, let me know in the comment section down below. Maybe give us some recommendations of where people should go, what they should see. Maybe some places that you wouldn't recommend to go. That's all good as well.